You two? The both of you's got jungle fever. The both of you's.
Screw this.
Let's talk about Dr. Quymn, Medicine Woman, the almost incest episode of The Venture Bros. This is one of the episodes of The Venture Bros that I kind of don't like. To the point where sometimes I even skip it when I'm rewatching the show. I love the boys plotline, but Rusty and Dr. Quymn just don't do it for me. So let me know what you think of this episode in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. So let's jump into this and go Team Boobies.
Go, Team Boobies!
Very quick synopsis. We're introduced to Dr. Tara Quymn.
Dr. Quymn, I presume.
Gently. I sucked the poison out, but you were completely dehydrated.
A friend of Rusty's from childhood. His very concerning childhood.
Save me, Dr. Venture.
Dr. Quymn, I presume?
The Ventures travel to the jungle. Looking for an erectile dysfunction medicine for dogs.
I've been researching alternative cures for impotence.
With some ape boxing thrown in for good measure.
We're supposed to teach them boxing, not tricks. You ready, Dean?
No.
And Rusty then spends the episode trying to get with Dr. Quymn for the majority of it.
I think I just found my cure for impotence after all. Now if I could just find a way to bottle that ass.
Using Brock as a distraction to get rid of Quym's bodyguard.
Operation Do Rusty is solid. I need you to keep this Jimmy character distracted.
While the boys investigate the Werodile.
The Werodile.
Werodile?
Local folk legend. Half man, half crocodile, and covered in awful hair.
Who seems to have been attacking this little tribal village since Rusty stole their fertility idol, because that's something Rusty would do.
You brought the wrath of the Werodile when you stole their idol.
Nice.
The boys team up with Quym's daughters after Brock spots Werodile tracks in the woods.
Oh, I saw them. Two of them.
Two of them?
While the camp is on high alert, Rusty and Quymn seem to get closer and closer as she pushes away her female bodyguard.
Get out! Get out! You monster!
Who in turn tries to romance Brock.
Without all-wheel drive, solid chassis.
But it's very clear that she seems to have feelings for Dr. Quymn. The boys are having two very different adventures. Dean is committed to hunt down the monster.
Curiouser and curiouser. Dr. Quymn has a demon.
And Hank is going after the girls.
I'm trying to write a song for the girls.
As Hank goes into the woods to look for the girls, Dean is ambushed by them.
Please, we have to stop. Help! Oh, this isn't happening. Help!
It's probably his first time seeing the female form and he runs away.
Oh my God! You're the Werediles! Help!
Doc seems to be getting hot and heavy with Tara.
You have no idea how long it's been.
19 years, 2 months, and 4 days.
But her bodyguard comes back, throws Rusty off, and a fight breaks out between her and Brock Sampson. They knock over a lantern. Dean freaks out.
We have to stop her transformation before she kills us all!
The camp is engulfed in flames. And as the flames start to rise, Quymn starts to spasm and shake.
Dr. Quymn is the Werodile!
Rusty thinks she must be the Werodile and this is her transformation. And he's disgusted that he almost had sex with her.
Oh my God, I almost fucked a Werodile!
Turns out that she's epileptic.
She's not a Werodile! She's an epileptic!
Ew!
All the while, Hank is in the woods and he is caught in a trap. And the Werodile slowly starts to approach him. From behind, the flames encroach. And then one of my absolute favourite jokes of the show, and I think the whole reason the episode is worth watching, is Clyde the orangutan, who shows up, beats up the Werodile, and runs back off to the jungle. As we wake up the next day, the camp is destroyed. The girls have lost interest in Dean because he's not circumcised.
Oh. Does that mean you aren't too?
Doc has lost all of Quym's interest because of how he reacted to her having a seizure, and Hank has been given a circumcision by the natives.
The natives already did. They even made him an honorary warrior and gave him a circumcision.
Hey, How you holding up there, Broken Arrow?
So while this episode doesn't do it for me as a whole thing, we do have some of the most amazing scenes in the series. Most importantly is our intro. Jonas Venture's Swingers Party, a real insight into the 1960s.
If she won't take my name, maybe she'll take a smack in her smart mouth.
Try me.
We see Colonel Gentleman and his wife, Ms. Quymn, Tara Quym's mother, who is past Jonas Venture's key very early on. And both of them abandon their children, who happily Kano is there to pick up and look after.
Just a little further, and we'll reach the lost city of gold, Sabu.
We need to talk about the guest that Jonas Venture has at his party. It's a real who's who's of 60s. We've got Raquel Welch in her 1 million BC loincloth, Jackie O, Jack Parson, Dick Cavett, Nicole Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, Aristotle Onassis, David Bowie, and Colonel Gentleman seems to really have a thing for him.
Oh, you pretty thing.
And I think later in the episode they even take a naked dip together. Twiggy, Sammy Davis Jr., Huey Newton, so a completely all-star cast, and half of them have dressed up in their outfits, which it must take a lot of sway to get some of these female actors to dress up how they do for those films. We also get almost all of Team Venture. We're just missing Dr. Entman and Uku, who we find out a bit more later in this season. It's also the first time we see the Blue Morpho. Then later on in the episode, we see Jonas and Miss Quymn getting down and dirty. They fall right into Rusty's play fort. Which leads us to our next important bit of lore. Dr. Tara Quymn, a wonderful gender-bent version of our family. Dr. Quymn herself is a redhead, a doctor, and more likely than not, Rusty's sister.
Oh, you know, curing cancer. Well, I'm trying anyway. There've been a number of obstacles.
Based on Jonas's antics in those swinging 60s, there's a good chance that she does share some relation to him, probably stepsister. She is herself a parody of Lara Croft and Dr. Quinn. A slightly grosser sounding name. I know when the episode first aired, I know a lot of people thought she might be the boy's mother, seeing as Rusty and her had some sort of connection in the past. Seeing as Jonas was sleeping with her mother, the red hair, is probably a good thing that she's not. And as the episode progresses, Rusty gets hornier and hornier for incest.
Okay.
Oh, Rusty.
Fortunately, Ginny the bodyguard is able to put a stop to Luke and Leia. She's Brock's copy, a big butch bisexual lesbian.
Your fancy new pal's got a nice little sideline selling apes on the black market.
Well, at least she's never met a real man yet.
Why do you hate men so much?
Don't hate men, princess. Just never met a real one.
She's a lot more caring for Tarbear than Brock has ever been for Rusty.
You're all cute, dear. You're reaching now.
She's supportive to her needs. She helped her through whatever relationship issues she's had in the past with her daughter's father.
She doesn't need your bells or your poos or your shack therapy anymore.
Through her daughter's father and addiction. I enjoy her protectiveness. I wonder if Brock would have been more like her, more protective, if the boys weren't essentially immortal.
Now come here, you buttons.
Then we have the girls, Nancy and Drew. And of course, the girls are identical, semi-identical, technically.
Identical twins.
Semi-identical, technically.
And very difficult to tell apart. They also have the hots for Dean.
I like Dean. He's got that hot little Iggy Pop body, but with like a Weezer sort of style.
Which goes extremely poorly with the girls almost raping him.
Oh, help! Oh, this isn't happening! Help!
Ham Republic at this point knew about the community's love for Dean, and they knew that a lot of people were writing fanfic and cosplaying, so a lot of the stuff in this episode and the previous episodes are very much to work with the fans. They went from fighting over Dean to deciding to share him, which leads to them pinning him down, and as they start to undress, Dean runs away, likely due to Doc's lack of sex. Earlier in the episode, the boys are talking about armpit hair and their lack thereof.
I barely have hair under there.
Me too!
So it's likely that the girls in the jungle do have armpit hair, and as they start to undress, that's what freaks Dean out.
Just enjoy this.
Oh my god! You're the Weirdos!
And that's why he thinks they're weiradiles, because he just doesn't know that girls have hair. Which is a really good thing, because while I prefer Hank, Dean still needs to be protected. Now, my favourite part of this episode, and most episodes, is Hank. He is the one redeeming thing throughout, and he shines in this episode, as he should. Hank is a boy adventurer, and they are in the jungle.
Brock, this is kind of the saddest thing ever.
Hank, Clyde.
Stop it, Hank. Yeah, it is, Dean.
We see this again in season 5, Hank in his element. Hank is the one most enthused about training Clyde, the boxing orangutan. He even names him from every which way but loose.
Goddamn bag of Oreo. Oh, stop that, you goddamn baboon. No respect, no privacy.
Hank develops a crush on the girls first.
I like them. I just don't like them.
Well, I do.
Because at the time, the fans of the show had much more interest in Dean than Hank. So as a nod to the fans, Public made it so the girls ignored Hank completely as he was writing this. And he tries so hard to impress them.
And they're gonna think you're some crazy, obsessed, weirdo stalker who, like, draws pictures of them in your note.
But not in a crazed, obsessed, weirdo stalker way.
And they'll think you, like, talk to the pictures, and then you cut out the lips and the eyes with, like, a razor blade, and then you write dirty words on them with your own poop, and you rub them on your chest.
He writes them a love song that got cut, leaving only this cool Van Halen bass in the episode and no reason for it.
Hank, are you listening to me?
Actually, can you keep it down?
His obsession leads to a little bit of tension between the boys.
You've gone soft on me, Henry Allen, so-called Venture!
As Dean still wants to solve the mystery and Hank wants to get with the girls. And
You used to be all go Team Venture!
in fact, we get the greatest line of this episode.
But now you're all go Team...
All this while their dad is off returning the idol to solve his dick. While Rusty is returning the fertility idol he stole for his dick problems. But on the flip side, he has found a problem for his erectile dysfunction, and that's his stepsister's ass.
Found my cure for impotence after all. Now, if I could just find a way to bottle that ass, I'd be a multi-millionaire.
So, after an argument between Hank and Dean, he goes into the woods, thinking he's been invited by the girls. In fact, they were after Dean.
Query in 10 minutes.
And as Dean and Rusty are about to get lucky, well...
Christ compels you!
which doesn't end very well for them, and poor Hank is caught in a trap moments away from death. All while the rest of the Ventures are arguing in a flaming room, Hank has all been just left on his own. I feel sorry for Hank in this episode. I just want somebody to look after him. But it's fine. Hank saves the day. The Weredile is defeated. And then as Quymn and her gender swap ex-one leave, we learn Hank's reward.
Oh, God! Love!
For being the best and helping everyone was to get circumcised. It's just a very...
The natives already did. They even made him an honorary warrior and gave him a circumcision.
mean episode to Hank.
Hey, how you holding up there, Broken Arrow?
And he deserves better. He deserves the best. Our after credits is... Our after credit scene reveals the truth about the Weredile. It was a costumed villain, a real boy adventurer mystery. And the natives, we learned, don't seem to have it as bad as Dr. Quymn thinks. In fact, IKEA isn't causing them that many problems. They seem to be loving it.
That IKEA opened up downriver.
Oh, the logging company that supplies the lumber for their billy bookcases has been trying to force them off their ancestral lands.
I'll get you next time. We're almost halfway through season 3. So let me know what you think of this episode in the comments, and let me know what you think of... So I'll catch you next week. Remember to let me know what you think in the comments, and go Team Venture!